Welcome to my demonstration on how to create overlapping bottle artwork showing primary colors making secondary colors. I also wanted to show you, this is my first example, I also wanted to show you that you can make more than the secondary colors. You can also make tertiary colors. And I'm going to show you different ways to do that. So let us begin. We're going to start with, I'm using watercolor paper. I will have that for students at school. But if you don't have watercolor paper, you can use cardstock. That's preferred. If you don't have cardstock, just use plain paper. And the supplies that I need will be a pencil with an eraser, a Sharpie, a black Sharpie, important, and primary and secondary colors. I'm going to start with markers, but you can use pencil crayons or you can use crayons or whatever you have. And we're going to start with practicing how to draw a bottle, overlapping bottles. And first I'm going to just use plain piece of paper just to practice. Please, if you don't have paper, if you have your sketchbook, use your sketchbook. If you don't have your sketchbook, then just any printer paper will work. And I'm going to start practicing my bottle drawings. And the reason I'm using bottles is because they're a nice shape without being too complicated. You don't have to do bottles. I'm going to show you quickly. I always draw kind of a tabletop line. I don't like them to be floating. And I'm going to start with different shapes and sizes. It's a little bit funny down here. I'll fix that. And I'm going to draw the next one overlapping. And this is what I mean when I say overlapping. I'm going over it. I'm going on top of it. They're crossing over. And I'm going to do another one. And I'm doing different shapes and sizes. And they're not all symmetrical. They're a little uneven, but that's okay. And I have 4 here, and I could probably do another one. Maybe I'll just do a little baby one here. And here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can practice this. You don't have to worry if you don't get it right the first time. I've done many of these. So I'd like you to practice. If you don't want to do bottles and you want to do something that might be a little bit easier, you could do something like circles. And you could have them like this, and you could find something that you can make a shape with. Maybe your water bottle. I have this cup here, and you could do something like this. And do a circle and do another overlapping circle. So make sure that they cross over. Almost looks like the Very Hungry Caterpillar. And one more here. Now let me ask you a question. How many overlappings do we have to have in order to show primary colors making secondary colors? And you can look at your color wheel to get an idea. If you wanted to, you might also want to add tertiary colors into that, but you don't have to. That's up to you. This is another option. As long as you're showing overlapping sections, then that's great. I'm going to do my good copy now. And I'm going to start with pencil first. So I'm going to start here. And I like them to all be different shapes and sizes. And I want you to notice we need to have enough space overlapping to show the color that they'll make. So you have to be thinking about that. And I want them to be different shapes and sizes. So right now I have 4. I could add one more there, but do I have to? Let's figure this out. I need to use 3 primary colors to make secondary colors, and they mix. So in total, I'm going to need 3 that are primary. I have 3. I actually have 4. And then how many do I need to make secondary? So if this is red and blue, let's say, this would make purple. And if this is blue and yellow, then this would make green. So we have red, blue, and yellow. But what's this one going to be here? Oh, wait, we have purple and we have green. What are we missing? Orange. Red here, just like we did the red here, we have to repeat the red to mix with the yellow to make orange. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to add one more bottle. And I have 5 bottles now. So my next step is going to be deciding on what they are. So like I said before, we're going to start this one. We're going to do, let's start with red. So I'm going to put an R here in pencil. This one's going to be blue, and this one's going to be yellow. Y for yellow. And then we said we're going red and blue make purple. So that's one secondary color. Blue and yellow make green. So we'll put the G there. And yellow and what? We have purple, we got green, and we have to do orange. So yellow mixed with what makes orange? Red. And then the orange goes there. But then we have an extra one. And if I wanted to, and you don't have to, you can still repeat it. And we could actually mix this with blue and do another purple. Or we could mix this one red with a secondary color like purple, and we could make, or it's violet, red, purple, or red, violet. And let's see how it goes from there. The next step, you are going to, when you are happy with the space that's in between, because this one here might be a little bit small, so I'm going to erase that, and I'm going to erase that. And I'm going to make this a little bit wider in there, and that a little bit wider in there. So I have more space to color in. So make sure that your paper is not too close together, and I'll show you on the circle. So let's say you added a circle and you added it there. That space right there is very small. It's really not enough space to show the color that these two are making inside. So you have to make sure you have enough space to fill in well. Next step is outlining with your black Sharpie, and it has to be a Sharpie. It can't be a water-based marker, or it could be a crayon, a black crayon, or it could be even a black pencil crayon, or pretty much that's it. And I'm going to do this quickly. Now you could use a ruler for the bottom. I didn't, I just did it freehand. But you notice that I'm not writing in black the colors. We're going to erase those once we decide. We're also going to erase any pencil of our original lines. Okay. And I still have the first letter of the color that I'm going to be using. This helps me know what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start with red. And what I'm going to do is I want to fill in, and I'm going to start coloring it in. And as I get close to the center, I can erase that because I know it's red and I don't need to have that there. But see how I'm leaving that blank there? I know that's going to be purple. So I'm going to add my blue next because I want to make sure. And see how I'm going around and leaving that space empty. I'm not going to color it in just yet. I'm also using the side of my marker if I'm using these big thick ones because I get more color on the paper. And I have to erase that. I'm almost done my reds, and I'm going to get to the last one here, which is purple. And you can see I'm using markers, but like I said, you can use other materials. If you have pastels, you could use pastels. If you have pencil crayons, you can use pencil crayons. You can use markers, regular crayons, whatever you have. Now I'm done this part and I wanted to add this next part. So what I want to do, similar to what we did before, is I can use the markers that I have and put my primary colors away and just use my secondary colors. I'm going to show you two ways to do this. The first way is just using a marker. And you can just do it this way and keep it simple. I know that red mixed with blue, when they overlap, makes purple. So I'm going to fill this in purple. And I know that green is what yellow and blue mixed together makes. So I'm going to erase that. And I'm going to use my green marker. And then I get to my last one, and I need to remember what I was doing. I was mixing a primary red with a secondary purple. And like I said before, if you look at your color wheel, that is a tertiary color. That is made by mixing a primary and a secondary color. So when we mix red and purple, or red and violet, we get red-violet or red-purple. So I'm going to erase that. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I have. You're like, how am I going to use red, purple? How am I going to mix this? So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to color this red here. And I'm going to add some purple. You're going to say, it's not going to be the same. And I'm going to say, well, watch this. I have a little paintbrush, and you don't have to do this. But if you want to, a little paintbrush here with water, a little container of water, and I'm mixing it together. And the cool thing about using these Crayola markers, if that's what you're using, is they are water-based. So they will mix together with water and give you another color. And there is a red-purple. And the red, actually, because it wasn't such a great marker, it was a little bit dried out, I can actually use the water to fill in if I wanted to. And you don't have to do this at all. This was just something I wanted to show you. And if you were using crayons or pencil crayons, you wouldn't do this either. This is just for the Crayola washable water-based markers. And there you have it. And you have to let it dry now if you're doing that method. And you don't have to do that this way. This one that I did was markers, actually, and pencil crayons. So I used, or crayons, I used the primary and secondary colors. I did primary, I did markers. Secondary, I believe I may have done pencil crayons. So do not feel that you have to do it one way or the other way. This is the one that I finished earlier, and I added a little bit more water there. You can see, okay, that I added water to that. I pulled it all in with water on the watercolor paper, okay? That's it for now. Next lesson, we will talk about adding a background.